Table Talk is not your typical D&D TTRPG podcast. We are not here to run you through our whole campaign.
We're here to talk about everything else in the space of tabletop roleplay.
I'm your host, Alejandra Wilhelm.
And I'm also your host, Mariah Gresham.
And we're your tabletop roleplay girlies.
Hey Table Talk listeners, it's me, your editor Audrey. Just wanted to take a moment and let you know that we at the Table Talk team are a part of a charity drive for the month of January, raising money for Doctors Without Borders to support the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. This charity, organized by Ryan from Run DMG, has a bunch of your favorite TTRPG creators backing it, who are all giving away rewards at different donation levels. From guest spots on your favorite actual plays, to custom-made giant D20s, and to TTRPG systems, and so much more. Your favorite roleplay girlies here at Table Talk are giving away guest spots to come on Table Talk as guests. We are also giving away a hand-painted Minotaur mini by Alejandra, accompanied with a backstory and plot hook written by Mariah as well. You might also be able to redeem some donations to have Alejandra and Mariah come play at your online game, either together or separately. You might even be able to interview the Table Talk hosts for your own show as well. The charity can be found at the Tiltify link in the description of each episode for the month of January, as well as in the link in bios on all our social medias, at Table Talk RPG. Any level of donation helps, and 100% of the proceeds go to Doctors Without Borders. Thank you so much, and now back to the show.
Alrighty, and we are live back at it with another awesome episode of Table Talk. Thank you so much for coming back. And we have another guest episode. I'm very excited because this is a very dear friend of mine. It's a friend. You want to give us a little intro about you, homie, and all the things that you do and where people can find you?
I guess so. Hi, everyone. I'm Andy, also known as ValveMax010 on TikTok, and pretty much only on TikTok. I kind of just exist there. I just do little goofy things that pop into my brain every now and then. The people were kind enough to like it and to follow me, and so I just am yet another member of this wonderful community.
Little goofy things is one hell of an understatement, because you
Rather I say goofy goober.
No, not goofy goober. I mean, you are a goofy goober, and I love your content so much, and it's part of why we became such quick friends. Mm-hmm. But you make insanely hilarious content, especially in the relation to TTRPGs. Like, I think I've busted laughing multiple times when you've come across my For You page, and I think I was like enamored from the jump, because I'm like, look at this beautiful teddy bear of a man and all the funny things that you do. And then I don't even remember how we started talking. I think I was just creeping on your comments a lot.
You, as far as I remember, you messaged me and you were like, hey, you seem really fucking cool. Do you want to be friends? I think that was literally the way it went. And I was like, why is this like goddess talking to me right now?
God, no.
And I was like, I mean, yeah.
Adult friendships do be that way. You kind of just have to come and be like, hi, would you like to be my friend? Yes, okay, no, we're friends now.
No, yeah, I do have the attitude of like, I will spy someone that I wish to be friends with, and I will grab them by the throat, and I'm like, you're mine now.
Yes. You're
coming home with me.
That helps a lot, because I don't know anymore.
But you are also, on top of being incredibly hilarious in the TTRPG space, and please everyone go look at all of Andy's content because it's incredible. You're also a dungeon master, and the money I would give to play at your table is exorbitantly high.
Man, listen, you flatter me, but you don't even know. Like,
it's warranted. It's warranted. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
The amount of work I have to. So for those of you who don't know, I'm in 2 campaigns. I Dungeon Master 1, and it's just for this group of high school boys that I'm really close to, and that I'm kind of like a big brother to. And that's kind of gonna play into one of the topics that we're going to talk about today. But I have to struggle so hard to not look at them and go, "Are you freaking kidding me?" with that?
Yeah,
because they'll come out of the womb with like the most out of pocket ideas possible. Yeah. And I just go, anybody else would say no.
However,
but damn, that's cool.
Like, it's sick, so I'll allow it.
Yeah.
God, I feel that. Especially with high school boys, I cannot imagine the chaos.
Yeah, that's a different
one. You don't even know.
Give it to me. Give me some of the chaos. Give me some of the tea.
Okay, let me think. One name comes to mind, and that's Hugh. Hugh is, last campaign he was a bard. This campaign he's a druid. But he's functionally a bard because he tries to flirt with every single person that he sees. And every time there's a new NPC that is introduced, he goes, "Hey, Andy, real quick, scale of 1 to 10." And I go, "I will hit you with a stick."
He's just trying to get his
But
ad
yeah,
in.
You need
He's just
you
trying
need
to
it.
get some
You need to
practice.
keep a squirt bottle on the table.
Yeah, you need
you know what?
a little spray
That's
bottle.
a great idea. I'm doing it. I'm going to go to Dollar Tree as soon as we're done recording here, and I'm going to invest in myself a spray bottle. But
Get a little one. Just set it right.
Yeah,
right
just
there.
put a little tape on it. Say no horny.
Yeah,
yeah,
like how we used to have
I
like
sit it right on the corner of the table, just in vision, so they
Yeah.
can all
Yeah.
see it. And I'm like, that's a warning if it chooses to be. That is a deterrent if it has to be.
Fill it with like
Yeah,
Mountain Dew so it gets sticky if you squirt. It's even more negative.
Oh,
No, don't. That will mold. That will absolutely mold.
That's their problem.
that's
it's
biological
Andy's problem
warfare
if
at that point.
if like the bottle has to live with him.
I mean, clean it out once in a while, I would imagine.
True. If you could do
Don't
Mountain Dew-
leave the Mountain Dew in there for like a month.
I don't know.
Also, but I feel like Mountain Dew is to the point where it could live a
No,
while.
there's sugar in that bitch. If you crack her open and like the air touch her, no.
It gives me the same energy as something that would survive like a fallout situation, and you'd find it
I
perfectly
mean, yeah, if
pristine
it's like
in a shelter.
if it's sealed, I feel like you could drink some
The
like
wine would
post-apocalyptic
survive,
Mountain
but
Dew.
as soon as you open
Yeah.
it, it's gone.
Yeah, it's when the air gets in.
Yeah, it
and all
would be
the
a
little air
Mountain Dew,
microbes.
a Mountain Dew vintage, if you will.
Yeah,
Little people
get in
people
there to
don't know
that
this,
sweet,
but
sweet dew.
right, exactly. People don't know this, but little do people know oxygen is actually terrible for you, and you shouldn't breathe it.
Oh yeah, we're slowly dying.
It is what is killing us,
Oh, yeah.
like scientifically.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's nobody
Like
to prove that.
oxygen is like it's like how pineapple eats you a little bit
Yeah.
when you eat it. That's
Does it
just
really?
breathing air. It does.
That's just breathing air because it's
That's why sometimes when you eat pineapple, you get like those little sore spots in your mouth.
Mhm.
It's because the pineapple will bite you back.
Yeah, we're being oxidized just at an extremely slow rate.
Pineapple got
Fun
to.
facts. Anyway, go think about that while
The Monty
we
fruit.
veer on another topic.
Now I want to make a T-shirt that's just a beholder pineapple. It's just like
Oh my gosh, I would buy that.
I want it. I'm not even lying.
We'll make it in our
I'll
merch
com-
once
I'll
we start
commission it.
rolling that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, I
but
100% agree with you on the like at some points you do gotta roll. You gotta roll with the chaos.
Oh, for sure.
And we've talked about it a couple times where like as a DM, like your job is obviously to help facilitate a story.
Mm-hmm.
And there can be times when people encounter DMs that like clearly had some idea planned, but
DMs that should just write a novel.
Yes, DMs that should just write a novel instead.
Yeah.
Because if you want the story to play out a very specific way, let me tell you, 9 times out of 10,
It's not gonna play out.
it's not gonna play out that way
Like
cheap.
literally, Ollie and I were just having a conversation about like the next time we play our Strixhaven game, and I was like, "Oh, is there any any particular like because it's gonna be a long session, so it's like kind of to our last long session. I was like, oh, do you want us to like come up with any like scene ideas or is there anything we could do?" And you were kind of like, "Oh, is there anything in particular you want to like have happen?" And one of those scenes I pitched about, I'm like, I think this would be cute, but I'm also down if it doesn't work out. I will just write it in a book. It's fine.
Yeah. Or to give an example, right now I'm in a situation, not to address the situation fully, but like prior session, there's a ball that we're going into that is one of the characters' brother's engagement ball.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was having an interaction with her brother, kind of game planning like what they're going to do to try to sabotage his engagement.
Yeah, because we're trying to get it where like it's a very toxic family, and like so the Callista, it's our friend Bex's character Callista, and it's the family's called the Bloodstones. Actually, so we can just drop names and I don't have to refer to everyone every time. And then my character Anya is actually used to date the guy
Aforementioned brother who is being engaged,
who is going for his engagement ball. He's supposed to be getting engaged, and he's still in love with her, and she's deeply traumatized and confused about everything. Really has a lot of confused feelings about him as well. And it's very, very good food. Ollie rolls more nat ones for that man. And
he's
interactions
just a simp.
with Anya
he's just a simp.
Yeah, it's so good. It's fantastic.
Bex's character, like her and her brother are having obviously like a scene where they're talking about like what's their game plan going in.
Yeah, to try to ruin his marriage potential.
Yeah.
So ideally, like he proposes to people, but they turn him down.
Yeah. And so like they made a bunch of other things like spreading rumors about like his infertility and like maybe he's got like a cock ring that's stuck on there and some other shit. So they're spreading all these wild ass rumors and I'm loving it. And
you're
then
never gonna believe it. It's copper and it's turning his whole
It's
green.
it's
well, that was basically it. It's like, oh, he like put one and now it's like it backfired and now it's like, there's nothing.
He has an artificer like in his party, so it's like,
and then that poor artificer, because like it's a party of just frat bros and himbos, because like the only time Narian, that aforementioned brother, is not just a whole ass Chad, is around my character everywhere else.
Otherwise, he's a certified fuckboy.
So it was just all of these fuckboy characters turning toward this poor artificer, like, hey, our magic cock ring's a thing.
And he's like, no, don't put my name on that
like,
shit.
I refuse on principle to do that. But yeah, like that was one of the, if there was like a backfiring on.
Yeah. Well, not necessarily like that, highly encouraged. And then
but that particular magic item had backfired and affected the size of his actual equipment.
Yeah. But the instance in question is like, she makes a suggestion of like, hey, if nothing else works, I'm willing to drop this big bomb about her character that would be very public to try to like bring shame on her own family and make them illegible for marriage. And I had a moment as the GM.
My heart was in my throat.
I had a moment as the GM that I was like, baby girl, if you say that shit with your whole chest in front of the whole court, let me tell you, it's not going to work out the way you think. And I'm like doing all the calculations. And I was like, oh, this will set us on an entirely different course.
Like we're not going to be at Strixhaven anymore.
No, fully. Like, it will start us down a path that cannot be taken back.
Anya will have to call in Raina and Oak, who are
frequently mentioned. And you will be criminals and you'll have to leave the city.
To go and like bail her out. Raina may or may not kill Callista's parents.
Like who knows what could happen?
Vibes and her in on entertainment. And then like we'd have to go to like Anya has an elven family that she does not have a relationship with right now. We would have to either go there or to the fucking night court for like sanctuary.
Who knows what
I was like, it's no longer like we can't be in Strixhaven.
It would no longer be a Strixhaven campaign.
It's because like we will get her because like my character Anya is a vengeance paladin, and then Alyssa's character Jack is a barbarian, Dragonborn barbarian. So it's like in my arc finale, it was Anya and Jack back to back, swinging, cutting people through people. That is not this arc.
No,
this arc is social politics and subtlety, and
you cannot pop off in combat where they're at because you are on the Bloodstone home turf.
Yeah, we're on an island. The thing on an island that I found out today has an anti-magic fog field around it. Which I thought it was just like a decorative fog field for privacy. And I was like, no, you can't cast spells in there. And I'm like, cool. Great.
Cool.
And that was because Ollie's character Raina canonically snuck in their house and left like a creepy little note.
So they're like, cool, we gotta up the security on this bitch if
so
we're
they
gonna have the balls.
Raina'd their home.
But yeah, I had a moment as a GM and I remember like playing through her brother and trying to get those moments where you're like, I as a GM am working through this NPC to try to warn you against this idea that you're going on. She was pretty set on it at the end of the conversation, and I've been having to sit with it and like be terrified at the prospect of what that could mean, but I'm also not against it.
No.
I just need like I was telling her, I was like, I need to have a sit down conversation with Bex where it's like, hey, if you are committed to like fully take that swing, by all means, just know
chances are it's not going to like if you say that, you will be locked away.
Yeah,
it will know,
and it will set us on a different course.
Yeah.
And I'm more than willing to explore that.
Right.
I will trash everything else that I planned and rework it, and that's fine. But I need you to know
the gravity.
When
of
things
what
pop
you're
off, things are going to pop off.
Yeah, it will set us down a whole different path. And if you want to do that, by all means, we can go down that road. But you need to be aware of what you're doing.
Yeah, and ironically, like also Bex's character in my Vampire the Masquerade campaign, when we were working out some of her backstory stuff for her character Cecilia, there is some things that Cecilia's doing that I'm like, this is sick and I love it. But if it is found out, Cecilia's punishment will be the final death, and there is no rational way that I can pull that back. So I'm like, I'm happy to have that in play, but I'm like, if that gets to like the Prince of London, it is now on. I'm not going to break all the rules that I was holding everyone else to. Like, you will have to roll another character. That character will die.
Yeah,
and it's not be put in torpor, not take a few century nap. Like they will be left out to the sun,
executed, expeditions,
like.
Which is fine. Like you have all the freedom in the world to do that.
It. Like I will do everything I can to like build in some fail safes to like have other people that can, help and divert and try to keep that from, but like
keep that secret.
If it goes all the way tits up, like
there's not much I can do for you.
It will be out of my hands at a certain point.
Yeah. Have you had a lot of those moments?
I have, and man, I gotta tell you, I was gonna say earlier the one example I can tell or I can think of, or the one big one where Hugh was like, "Oh, is this person hot?" Is prior to this, they showed up to this new town, Langstrom. It's a completely homebrew town that I made up, just kind of like their home hub world that they come back to when they're done with like a big long quest in some other part of the world, just to chill, burn a few weeks, recoup, like process some stuff. And on their first day in town, they're meeting all these NPCs for the first time. He wanders into a freaking magic shop that he doesn't know who owns it, tries to swipe a potion off the desk. Meanwhile, this really paranoid goblin merchant is just sitting up in the corner watching him. And he's like,
Me
"Hey,
playing
man."
Baldur's Gate.
Right.
He's just stealing shit in front of Broadway, in front of people.
"What's up, dog? You gonna pay for that?" And Hugh's
Yeah.
like, I mean, I can,
Like I wasn't planning.
but
I can't
yeah.
now, I guess.
And he's like, "All right, cool. Go ahead and hand me that." And he hands him the potion. And he's like, "All right, now get out of my store. And if I ever see you here again, I will be calling the guards." And so every time he wants something, he has to go to his friends and be like, "Hey, can you go to Merkin?" That's his name. Merkin.
Mhm.
You go to Merkin and just buy some potions, but don't tell him what you're buying them for, because he won't
Yeah.
give them to you if he knows they're for me.
It's like when you're trying to get an older friend to buy alcohol for you. You're just like, I'll give you $20. Please go get me whatever.
"Can you get me some Coors Light?" And then your friend goes, "Did you really just ask me to buy you the piss that you call Coors Light?"
Coors Light is rough. You always like
I don't know. I'm not a beer
the
guy.
judgment calls we made by what people told us to get. Well, actually, I never really. By the time I could legally drink, I didn't party anymore. I was like, I'm done.
You burned yourself
I
out
burned
on that.
myself from like 8. Really, I mean, especially from like 18 to 20. After that, I was like, I'm good. I've done all I needed to do.
Needed to get out of my system.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, I never really partied, but like when I first turned 21, it was my birthday, and my friend was like, "Oh, you should try a Guinness." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I tried a Guinness, and we were at a sushi place. So I don't know
no.
why he told me to get
That's
a
a
Guinness
bold move.
with
That's a bad
beer.
move.
sushi. And then I go, "You know what? I don't think I like beer."
Just lap up this foam head to go with this
Right.
California roll, my boy.
And he's like,
Damn,
That's atrocious. That's an atrocious pairing.
that's horrifying.
"You know what the craziest thing? He went to school for culinary science, so he
No.
knew better."
He did you
He was
dirty.
he was just like, "The taste of the Guinness will overpower
No.
the bad of the sushi." And I
Incorrect.
go, I don't
Was the
know.
sushi bad?
No, the sushi wasn't bad. It's just he knew it was a bad pairing, so he was like,
He
Okay.
was
"The
purposely
Guinness
like
will
trying
be
to guide
so
you to that.
bold that it'll be
Mhm.
fine and you'll like it." And I'm like, "Dog,
Yeah, I mean, he just told you to get like a fucking Jaeger bomb at a sushi place. And be
that's
like,
not even the worst thing he ever did to me. He convinced me to try chocolate Sprite."
No.
Yeah, it was messed up. I'm gonna go on another quick rabbit trail.
I have a few ideas of what that might be, and I don't want to ask. Well,
Oh, I'm about to tell you. So
Okay,
we're
cool.
rolling and we drive into a Sonic, and he goes, "Hey, what's the most disgusting drink combination you can possibly think of right now?" And I go, "I don't think I want to tell you that, because I
Right.
feel like you're just gonna buy that and you're
Yeah.
gonna make me drink it." And he goes, "Chocolate Sprite it is." And he turns to the microphone and he asks for a chocolate Sprite to my
I had a worse version of that in my brain, so I'm glad it's the son. I'm glad it was a Sonic derived beverage.
Sonic derived beverage.
I was really scared.
Just
for
a
second
fizzy
there.
Sprite with hot fudge syrup.
That is exactly, Allie,
Atrocious.
I
that's
nailed it.
exactly what it is.
I
No,
nailed
the
it.
texture of that alone would be.
And he goes, he takes it, he acts like he's taking the sip, and then he's like, "Actually, that's kind of incredible. Here, try this." And I'm like, "Dog, there's not a shot I'm doing." He's like, "No. I promise, I promise." And for some reason, my youthful trust was still intact, and so I just took a big sip, and I actually almost threw up out the window. And I go, "You said this was fine." And he goes, "Yeah, I didn't drink that."
See, you can't take big sips of things. Okay, Ale hates mango.
Oh my god.
And so there was a time where like we were getting some of those. They weren't like they were the Olipop
The
sodas,
Olipop
and we
sodas.
got like a tropical
You'll
punch
pop off
flavor.
Olipop.
And like yeah, the tropical punch lollipops. Like I like them a lot, but like words of the wise, it tastes like mango juice.
It tastes like straight up mango.
Like nothing like tropical punch. And so like I had opened it and I took like a small sip of it because I had never had it before. And I was like, "Oh, what does it taste like?" And I had not processed the full flavor profile. So I was like, "Oh, it's fine." I was like, "It's pretty good." And then because the other ones we had like weren't really, they were kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then so like I hand it to Ollie to try it, and she takes like a fucking gulp of it and then is dying. And I'm
Okay.
like, take a test sip,
Mind
my
you.
guy.
No
Mind you.
change up, no
Mind you.
curveball.
No. Mind you, this fucking Olipop Tropical Punch can
It was like a blue can with red lettering.
Was blue, and there was
There's
not a
no-
mango in sight.
Yeah.
Of the fruits that were displayed in the front, not a single one.
We have not been right. Like, unless the definition of tropical punch has changed.
So I was
like,
lulled into a false sense of security by the fucking marketing of this can.
yeah,
and
but
I
you trusted it so
honestly
heavily.
should sue. But anyway, I took that big ass swig, and like when I tell you, millions of people will be like, "How the fuck do you not like mango?" Genuinely, I do not taste the same thing that other people do when they taste mango. I like all other tropical fruits. It makes no logical sense.
It's just
why I don't like mango.
Thing. Yeah.
It is literally a flavor that once it hits my tongue, I will gag. And I can taste it even in the smallest portions in a mixed drink or
Mango
whatever,
and
in
cinnamon.
smallest chunks, whatever. I will taste it and I will hate it. And so I took this swig, and that was probably the most mango I've ever actually had in my mouth at a given time.
Mango juice. And like, I love mango, so I liked it, but like I had to take a couple more sips before I could articulate that it was in fact the always forbidden fruit.
I was dry heaving into the sink fully.
Yeah. And I was just in there, and it took me a minute. I sipped it again. I was like, oh, it's mango.
Fully. And I was traumatized.
I was like, you gotta learn how to do a test sip. You can't just be blind trust in foreign beverages.
We don't take half measures in this house.
Well, since when in the history of ever has anything with mango ever been blue?
Oh, I agree.
Like,
it's a
No,
conspiracy.
you're right.
It is in fact a conspiracy.
And they normally put
However,
the fucking the mango fruit smack on the label.
You have to walk through the world with just a touch more cynicism. Just a little bit. You got to take a cautious step.
I've never
into
been
things.
betrayed like I've been betrayed that day.
No, you know what it is? They marketed the can after the Skittles tropical wrap.
I don't give a fuck. I'm suing Olipop.
Then over here,
Skittles.
it's the only real lollipop that I've had that I like. Because I like mango, but it tastes like mango juice.
No, yeah, I was dying. That was truly god awful.
Yeah, that was rough. So you're trying to wash it down with like the other like Ollipops that had like a weird chicory flavor for some reason, and I was like, why does it taste like this?
It's rough, buddy.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a whole tangent we just went on. You're welcome.
Super big.
But I did want to talk to you about you recently won to be a character on Dandy DM's 5-part mini series with a very amazing character, which was a flawless entry. I knew from the moment you made that video, I was like, if Andy does not win, I am personally DMing Dandy and being like, I'm going to hold a gun to your head till you choose this man.
Yeah, it's like
Well, please don't do that because I love Dandy so much. He is the.
I mean, I love him too, but I was willing to go to bat for you. What can I say?
And listen, nobody appreciates that more than I do. Let me be clear. You guys. Yeah, no, I really, it was funny because I was like, okay, do I go back in the archives and I pull out a character that I haven't thought about in years? Do I go back to the desk and I get to working on a new one? And I did the latter, and I was like, all right, how am I going to make something that's really cool? And then first things first, go with a weird freaking race. If you want something weird, you got to go weird from the jump. And so Loxodon's always been one of my favorite races, and I just went with a big drum marine boy. We turned that into kind of like a pirate themed campaign, not to give any spoilers or anything, but things may look different than the way we originally portrayed them in our injuries. They all seem really, really cool, and we're all really genuinely excited about it. That Chess and Jiro should actually be happening this Tuesday.
Oh,
I'm gonna be watching that shit.
Is it gonna be live or is it pre-recorded?
I don't know if it's gonna be live. I think he's gonna be recording it.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if he's gonna be recording the session 0. He might, but he's definitely gonna be recording the sessions and then uploading them to his YouTube. But yeah, no, I'm really, really excited about that. And making Brash Briggs was actually a really fun experience for me, and it's kind of complicated and making things fit the way I wanted them to fit, sound the way I wanted them to sound. I really wanted to tug at your heartstrings with this one.
I love it. I love it so much.
The voice is so good.
Do you still have the choice of like they're still a bard, right?
Oh yeah, there's still a bard.
Okay. And the piercings down the nose, that was a detail that you put in there that I was like, that is such a cool little flavor thing. And
So
like that they
good.
use their trunk
The
as
trunk
like
piercings,
a flute.
yeah.
That shit.
I really do love that because, well, first of all, Andy can't make it anymore. This is now a brass brig guest.
We've now been joined by Brass Briggs. Okay.
Howdy, y'all. Good to see you. Pleasure to meet y'all. But yeah, you know, my daddy, he was a good man and took it from us too soon. And I'm gonna stop because I'm getting way off. I felt myself actually.
I was
like,
fully
I'll
committed
go.
to the bit.
Yeah, I was like, we will just turn this into a story time.
But yeah, I just when I think of like making cool little quirks aesthetically for characters, I usually tie that pretty close to like one of their abilities. And so like Brash being very musically in tune, I was like, okay, this seems very simple, but it's like what's something that he can do? It's like what's an aspect of his character physically that can be related to his love of music. A trunk is like a long flute thing.
Like a clarinet.
Make it a flute. Turn him into Squidward, but good.
Yeah. So I mean, the Brass Briggs character was a really like you have a lot of interesting character choices, and I know you also wanted to talk about like how to make those choices in character creation to make things like your class be more personal and more attached to like who your character is as a person,
and like customizing that and kind of
do you want to talk about like a little bit of your process with that?
Yeah. So typically, when I think of making a new character, there's always like I'm sure this is not unique by any metric, but like there's always some inspiration that goes into it, like some random moment in a show or movie that I saw. There's a character that I want to play. It's a backup character for one of my other campaigns, actually. Her name is Mango, and she's a teifling.
How dare.
No, listen, I swear, I'm not even joking. That's real.
That's the foreshadowing for me.
Yeah.
My brain didn't even connect that until literally just now. So
Mango.
this is not an affront to you.
Mm-hmm.
I care for you very deeply.
She's a sentient mango with horns.
No, it's fine. I just keep getting betrayed by the people closest to me. It's cool.
No.
It's cool.
It's a forbidden veggie tale situation.
Listen, it's not my fault that your taste buds think a normal fruit is gross.
Okay, I'll accept that reality.
Okay, there you go. So everything about her is kind of unorthodox and weird and gross. And for the big piece, this is something that I cleared with my dungeon master. Instead of fire for her hellish rebuke, I was like, hey, would you mind if, because she's like this freaking weird baby child of a dragon, like an acid dragon and a tiefling, can we make her hellish rebuke just acid? And instead of like spewing fire, she just barfs up acid on people.
Incredible.
And that was something that I really had to work to get cleared. But they were like, yeah, actually, I don't mind that. It's like, okay, cool. That's all I want. And there was a great moment in the first time, because I did get to play like a version of her years ago. In the first time I ever played her, this poor kobold got melted down to the bone because he walked up and hit her. And
be like that sometimes.
I mean, the law of fuck around and find out does apply.
Sometimes you hit a woman named Mango and you get melted off
to the bone.
It'd be that way.
Actually, pretty fitting. So I'm going to turn this full circle and say I did mean it that way.
You did. Her acid is just secretly mango juice.
God.
In all his like hellscape world.
What if hell mangoes are acid? There we go.
Yeah,
I hate it.
Mangoes are acid. Birds are drones and mangoes are acid.
There we go.
You heard it here first. This is officially like an anti-mango propaganda podcast.
Yeah,
specifically only meant to put out negative marketing against mangoes.
Man.
The pineapple, not beholder, the pineapple mimic can consume all the mangoes. That's its ultimate goal.
That's our new mascot. You're hearing it here live first. Pineapple mimic.
Mango.
God,
they're lying.
Why did I just think of a comic of that though? No,
yeah,
I don't need another idea. Stop
no,
it, brain.
We're on 1,000,001 projects right now. We can't be tacking on more.
I can't be up at 3 a.m. drawing a pineapple mimic chasing mangoes.
No.
A pineapple mimic chasing mangoes with a picket sign saying "Don't trust Big Mango."
Yeah, but in the style of like an old timey cartoon that's meant to be like.
Yeah, no, that's what I was
like
thinking.
A political cartoon.
Yeah, like anti-mango propaganda. Like only you can stop mangoes.
Only you can stop. God, I need that. That's a shirt specifically just for me.
Yeah.
I'm the only person on that target market.
Mhm.
But by God, we'll make it.
I'll buy one. Shoot.
In moral support.
Yeah, we'll morally. Yeah, we will.
What do you mean moral? I just want the shirt.
Like, I'm just trying to get a t-shirt, man.
You'll get a
I'm
bunch of
trying to
free
get a free
t-shirts.
t-shirt.
Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, going back to that point, it's that's just an example of the rules, blah blah blah, say, well, it's gotta be fire damage, but like when you really feel that draw of, yo, this would be freaking cool, that's something, just go to your dungeon master with it and be like, hey, listen, cool idea, say yay or nay. But XYZ. They'll either say yeah or not. Sometimes they don't really have a good reason for saying nah, but it's their game at the end of the day.
But like a lot of the times I feel like we do a lot of like describing and flavoring how our spells work and stuff. And like, yeah, there are situations like if you're fighting like, I don't know, like ice mephits, that's the first thing that popped into my head. Like mephits are truly never far from our consciousness at this point. For some, they're just float around there for some weird reason, you know, and you have like, you can do fire damage or something, so you do double damage. Like, yeah, there are those situations, but unless like everything in your campaign
you're in an ice world and you've given someone firepower,
right, then there's no real reason to not align things or have a little bit more fun with it. Because like, unless again, then some people also may run like crunchier, more technical campaigns than we tend to, where it is like the damage types of like, is it bludgeoning, is it piercing, whatever. Like, we don't really do that. It's just kind of like damage is damage. Yeah. So then it's like, well, why not make it cool?
Yeah, I think the flavor aspect. I mean, we live and die by the hustle at our table, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm like one of the worst offenders for that.
Y'all really do be batting your fucking eyelashes at me half the time, and I'm like, girl.
Yeah. I mean, and like, I think as though like, I do not care. Like, I do not care if I get shot. I don't care if I get turned down. I know the shit I'm saying is ridiculous. It's just I kind of operate by the worst thing you're going to hear is no. Yeah. Like instinct with that. And so I'm like, what if this weird thing?
Yeah. But like, I also like, as far as character flavoring, like I remember one specific instance where back when we were in our previous like campaign and I was like first kind of deciding what I wanted to play, I remember running the idea of like a half ASMR, half tiefling. And my DM at the time, who is someone we don't talk to anymore, posed the problem with that he kind of posed it to me that if I played that character, I would basically have to be constantly conflicted between my two lineages, and in a way he painted it as like basically she would have to be like kind of almost starting to get driven mad by it, or like,
and I don't think that's fair. Like that's something
bipolar emotions and things like that. And I wasn't really problematic, but I wasn't into. It was one of those things where I pitched the idea and I thought it would be cool, and the way he kind of shot me down in that, because I was like, the things he told me I would have to do in order to play that character
made me feel uncomfortable.
And I was like, well, I wouldn't want to play her like that. Like I just want it for the aesthetic. Right. I don't want it for whatever else.
That's what I love about like our current DM for our Alderaan campaign, Teddy, how he makes his characters, because it's like he's like, hey, everybody's a weird mix of everything, because we're all like, there's no pure elves, pure anything at this point. Everybody's sort of intermingled. So we're all like at least a conglomeration of two different races, and we just pick like, it's like, oh, you can have 3 class abilities, and we don't take like ability modifiers when we first make our characters. We can get you kind of like ASI levels. So it's just like whatever version of that you want to pick, of like, do you have more of this class ability? Do you have more of that? And you do a similar thing. So like Vex's character Callista in our Strixhaven campaign
came to me being like, I want to be half ASMR, half tiefling. And I was like, over my dead body, will you not be allowed to do that? Because I wanted that.
There's a lot of ways to like work that out. And I think sometimes, I don't know, I'm just not this GM or DM where I feel the need to control everything. Like if it's a story that I want to control everything in, then I'll write it. Yeah. Right. And it's like, that's a different vibe fully. Then it's fun because it's co-collaborating and it's other people's insanity mixing with mine. Hence, like I do that arguably too much, which is like what I've done with VTM, where I have almost fucked myself because I just now have like pulled my plot threads together where I'm like, cool, I know how like roughly the arcs we can go into and everything, just because like I wanted to know what cool ideas y'all had, and I wanted you to be as engaged in the game as you could. And I know for me, like you are more engaged and you are more excited when you have that opportunity to co-create with the DM.
Yeah.
But I remember you telling me about that, and it is uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for a few reasons. Like we were just sort of talking about this earlier. I won't reignite this debate, but we weren't debating it. We were just discussing like some systems are not inclusive in the language they use when talking about mental illness or chronic illness or disabilities or anything like that. And it is, especially with things like in that example, using mental illness of like that DM was not mentally ill.
Yeah.
And it's like, that is especially using the like bipolar disorder of like, that is one that is very often fetishized and like used in as like a cliche or like a plot, like a catch. And it's like, that's incredibly uncomfortable.
No.
Like if that's something you want to explore in your character, like, okay.
Yeah,
I think do that.
I think the main thing, and like,
but don't use that to try to shoot someone down. Like, just say you don't want to work out the mechanics, or you don't know how to work out the mechanics.
Yeah,
and admit you don't, and
you'd rather we stick to like one race or like half human, half whatever, like the normal basic stuff. Like that would have been fine.
Don't like make you feel like shit about it, so you back off, or be like, oh, you can do it, but then you're gonna have to
deal with all these specific consequences.
Yeah,
of like how I'm dictating that you have to play this character.
It was similar to with Cadence, or like that DM just like could not get his head around.
Oh yeah,
like a Warforged having any kind of like intimate or sexual relations with anyone else. And I'm like, listen, we live in like we have like one of our players, Alyssa, is like obsessed with the Transformers. Yeah, and, like you're obsessed with Mass Effect. So both y'all were like, listen, we have the literature.
I've got the content. If you need reference material,
if you need, like if it's a question of knowledge, like we have it for you. We can give you a PowerPoint presentation right now. But it's just like,
let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard of HR Dagger by chance?
Yeah. It's just like there were a lot of things that made that an unhealthy situation, but that sort of power game of not owning if he didn't want to do something or he didn't feel comfortable doing something, and twisting it in a way that would make either us as the player or us as a person feel uncomfortable enough to where then we would back off and he would win that power struggle. And that was a very overarching issue.
Yeah. And in result, it caused me to like, I was having issues playing Cadence the way I wanted to because I was kind of pigeonholed. Mm-hmm. And because like it's for listeners, like we've mentioned it lightly, but I don't know if we've ever outright said like it was a Ravenloft like kink campaign.
Yeah, it was a horror kink campaign. And yes, we should not have been doing that. No, we did not have a set lines and veils conversation. Yes, that's dumb. Yes, that's why that's like our main
we did
soapbox.
Independently with the DM. The problem was that we never had one with the group as a whole.
That's
granted, like that's not acceptable. But like, granted, the actual campaign was pretty much okay. Like, but the only thing is like,
it went okay. It was just irresponsible.
Yeah, but the things with my character was like, okay, I made her before we had decided it was going to be a kink campaign.
Yeah, you made Cadence quite
before we had even had like most of the players involved.
Yeah, it was just like you, me, the DM, and I believe.
Yeah. And so then I had made her, I had fallen in love with the character. And then once we got into the campaign, I was like trying to figure out how to get that element of the campaign the way that everybody else was getting it. And he couldn't contend with it. And then that was pigeonholing me in a place where I was like, cool. So this is a kink campaign where everybody else is getting their rocks off and my character cannot.
Right. And it's a thing of like nothing wrong. Like I'm Demi. There's nothing absolutely wrong with playing an asexual character or anything like that, if that's what you want to do. But again, it's a thing of like being forced into that corner.
Yeah.
When like it is not like either he should have communicated that clearly.
Yeah.
Like, which I think he eventually did after like months when you were like, why are you just rebuffing this?
Yeah.
Like,
which then resulted in me like, okay, if you can't come to terms with it and I'm no longer feeling happy with the character and how the story's going.
Yeah.
That's why we ended up like killing her off and going into a different character.
But it got to the point where you were so uncomfortable that you were like, I will just get rid of this character that I do enjoy at playing a lot of things about her because you are not helping me find a solution. So I will make one for you, which is getting rid of this character.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I feel like as a DM, one, to clarify, you are able to turn down ideas if you are
fully.
genuinely like, this does not work for what I have in mind, or like it's not something I'm comfortable portraying. That's perfectly okay.
Doesn't fit the scene, doesn't fit the tone.
That it is okay to make those judgment calls. Just be honest. But I think like
taking ownership of like, hey, this isn't something I'm really happy to do, or hey, this isn't like, I know when we started like our Vampire the Masquerade, it's Fall of London, it's a Camarilla campaign. So I was like, hey, and like y'all are all older kindred. So I was like, we're not going to be thin bloods because they're all super young. And like, I'd rather you not be like Kaidif or clanless, because like they're kind of all anarchs or like just rogue parties. And it just, it's not, you're going to have a hard time. You're not physically going to fit in the Camarilla like court. Yeah. But literally any other clan, I'll work it in. Yeah. I don't care if it's a traditional high clan.
You can set your own boundaries as a DM. And not inhibiting the creativity of your players.
And I told you why I did not want you to pick from those clans, of like, because like I don't know how I will work those in or if it is even possible. Mm-hmm. But I own that was like my own thing.
And having those conversations from the jump facilitates that being a lot easier. Because if you agree to something but then go back on it or whatever, I mean, to say that, not necessarily like with y'all in our campaign, I was a new DM when we started.
For sure.
And I was like, I have no concept for where the fuck is broken. So I'm going to say yes to a lot of things. Mm-hmm. And then if at some point, once we're in the game, I realize, hey, yo, this shit all...
I've messed up.
I fucked up. This is a little broken. Like I've explained to all of you, like I have the right to take something back, but I'm not going to leave you with nothing. We can rework it. We can figure out how to balance it. But like if I've promised something, we may, and it turns out it's more than what your character should have right now. Like then we'll figure out how to balance it out. But it's a conversation between me and y'all and making sure that like y'all are still getting your fun out of it, but I'm also not making my own life hell because I've just said yes to everything.
And it's like, oh, cool. Now we got to rock a Tarrasque up in here in this little party fight because I've given you all like god weapons. You killed a soul or stole its bow,
and you're level 3.
That's
like,
that's something I had to learn with my boys during their first campaign, is because I was just so ready for, like, I understood the assignment of they are the heroes of this campaign. Mm-hmm. I want to make them definitely feel like it. Mm-hmm. But like at one point they were just lawnmowering everything I was putting in front of them.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what to do. Do I go more people? That is.
How do I balance these encounters?
Like, is it only dragons now?
Bigger
not rats. It's just only dragons.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think
at a certain point, I just realized, I gotta not give him that axe yet. I gotta not give him that sword yet. Yeah, no, that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, and like that takes practice, and it's tough to know like when you're doing that. And I think it also depends on like, we're fortunate for Strixhaven of like all of us are experienced players now, and we're all good about being respectful of like if something comes up in like OSRP or comes up in like an RP scenario, like it is not something we're going to then try to leverage in combat to like get away with something that we shouldn't be able to do.
Yeah.
Like I think like in one of my example, like in one of like our current like out of session like written role plays that we're doing, like I'm probably going to have my character's deities send their 2 like Reaper Sentinels in to just like, I honestly peep and watch like another like our friend of ours, like do this interrogation and also just be terrifying. But it's like by no means can my character
just summon these god reapers.
Like she is not summoning them. The god is letting them through, and like it is just for flavor and because I had like a fun horrific idea to throw into this like dark OSRP that we're doing. Like they are not at her beck and call. They are at the beck and call of a deity.
Yeah.
Which is like,
And I think I, as the DM, like approached you where I was like, hey, just temperature checking. This is like a funny haha. And this is like, because just for my own reference of like later, like this is not something I'm just allowing to happen. And then
they're
later
not
you're going to pull this shit out on me and I'm going to be like, oh, fuck.
No. Like,
thing, I promise.
Nope. Yeah. I just had like a fucked up idea that I'm like, this would be fun. Yeah. But like, no, you were not going to, the like bringers of death are not going to be a reoccurring cast member.
Yeah. I do definitely like allow a lot of stuff at our game and I'm like, it'll be good for the plot.
For sure.
But it is good to create. That's why we've harped on it multiple times, but like creating an environment where that communication line is open between both you and your players, because like the DM and GM is a player too. Like this is your thing that you are having fun with, ideally. And if you are not, there's something's wrong.
Yep.
But you should be able to approach your players the same way that they approach you and discuss your comfort levels, discuss what you're allowing and what you're not allowing and things like that. And just and work through it with them and not just dictate at them like what can and can't happen.
And articulate things that like about the world, like with your situation with Bex, or like with certain situations. Like I had conversations with you about like stuff Revno was maybe going to do about, because like you as the DM have more information about the world than your players do. Yeah. And so they may not understand the full gravity
of what they're about to do.
Right. And so it's like expressing that and being like, okay, like I want you to make an informed decision as the person driving this character, with the knowledge that I am not going to make an exception and cancel out all the rules and like laws of physics for this society to like preserve your character from the consequences of their choice.
Yeah.
But if you want to make that choice, go for it.
Go with
that
God.
That is your choice. Yep.
But like I will pray for you and myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is very much like it was fun. It was not fun, but it was like funny to me in the aftermath of like being in that scene in the moment, having that DM panic, and there is a little bit of an instinct.
Also panicked. I panicked for her and for you.
Yeah, there's a little bit of an instinct of like, I gotta reel this back. And I sat with it for a while because I was debating. I was like, do I have a Hail Mary in my back pocket, right? Of like, if she does do this at the ball, do I have somebody swoop in and just like stop her? When I thought about it, I was like, I don't feel good about that. That feels like I'm taking her agency away.
Yeah, at least without
a lot of cheese,
talking to her.
A lot of cheese, a lot of cheddar. Yeah.
Like if you have a conversation before and then it's like, oh, that could actually be kind of fun. Or like she goes to do something and someone swoops in and silences her or something. But talking to your player before about that is super important and not just doing it blindly.
Exactly. Because I don't want her then to sit. I know she has an idea of what the thing she wants to do is gonna cause. And like you said, I have information as the GM that dictates differently.
Yep.
So I recognized that after thinking about it, and I was like, okay, I just need to come to her and be like, hey, I know you want to do this thing. However, like, here's what
you are blowing up your character's entire life.
Yeah, and fully.
It's not casual or cash
and
money.
There's not a way that I can reconcile that for you. Like, I'm trying, and I'm having a hard time.
Like, I don't have a Hail Mary. Like, there's nothing here.
Your character's family is looking at me being like, bitch.
Yeah, they have you hogtied and thrown in the back of the train.
Pretty
it's like
much.
if your character says this thing and it leaves her mouth and is in the public domain of that world,
it's going to be rough.
It is irrevocable and it cannot be taken back, and there will be
record scratch immediately.
For real. And so I'm like, cool. On top of she's in her ancestral home, I'm like, damn, you're going to be a real cute Rapunzel just up in a tower, not seeing the light of day.
Please don't make us have to fight our way out this island.
that you cannot cast magic to get out of.
With no magic. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, I was like, cool. And then I, like, after talking with Mariah through it, I was like, okay, I feel much better about the fact of like, yes, I have her whole arc basically planned out. And when she dropped that bomb on me, I was like, that will throw everything I've planned out the window.
Like, fucking Strixhaven campaign.
That's a
like,
whole...
you thought my character bringing Raina in early for the parent-teacher meeting was wild.
No, the campaign is gone. The campaign is gone and I have to start from scratch.
Yeah.
But listen, at the same time,
we could do it.
And like that could lead down some whole different path, and it will still be fun, and I'm okay with that. But it is that moment of like, I need you to think real long and hard.
Yeah. We are level 3.
About it's what we're about to do.
Yeah. It's like we can even if we want to keep that in our back pocket, and so we're like, I don't know, like level 8. I feel better about that at level 8 than I do at level 3. Can my character's griffin get to riding size, please?
It's currently a dog size.
Yeah, it's like the size of an owlbear in Baldur's Gate, the baby owlbear.
Yeah.
So it's like, can Atlas get to bearing human size?
Not that quickly,
because he's gonna be big.
He's gonna be big,
but it takes time.
But yeah, no, it's interesting. It's fun. It is that element of like, I will and will always embrace that chaos, because y'all do be throwing me some curveballs. But a lot of the times, even if it's going against everything you've already worked on, I understand the game that this tabletop experience. And more often than not, the things you didn't plan for
Are the
and
best.
end up becoming the best like memories and
Yeah.
parts of the game that you could ever experience.
The magic really comes from those improv moments.
100%.
That are just...
So it's never like, I don't ever want to shut that shit down entirely.
No. I think we've had experiences where that has happened. And so it's
Yeah.
like, it is like it's the drum we always beat, right? Of like, talk to people, have like, this is why like those session 0 combos, like not just Lions and Veils, but like the style of game you want to play or the style of game you want to run as a DM. And then just keeping those lines of communication open where you can be like, hey, chief, like
we gotta do a little check-in.
This is a lot. This is you like just fully ass in the wind in the middle of this. Like, we're like, okay. Like, I'm not against it or for it, but yeah, it's something.
100%. 100%. Well, it looks like I believe we are coming up on time here.
No.
It's so sad.
No.
That's wild. It does not feel like
it does not feel like it was it took that long. But thank you so much, Andy, for coming on. You're so wonderful and so beautiful and so amazing and so funny. And I love you.
No.
Yes.
No, that's you.
No, it us, okay?
Oh no, it all of us.
Oh no, it all of us.
Porque no los dos.
Porque no los dos. But yeah, if you don't mind giving out, a little bit about who you are again, and the exciting projects that you got going on, and where people can find you one more time before we sign off.
Like I said, guys, you can find me on TikTok at ValveMax010, not ValveMax0010. That guy's a scammer. I don't like him. Could be a girl. Don't know. Hate's equal.
My hate does not discriminate.
It does not.
That's
but
also true.
Yeah, you can find me there, ValveMax010 on TikTok. I haven't posted my first post of 2024, but I'm brainstorming. I'll probably have something there soon. I'm gonna be in a mini series, mini shot with Dandy DM, who's DMing Noctopus, Farm Grown Cosplays, and Emma Romama. We're all gonna be setting sail on some random adventure to probably our doom. I'm really excited about it, and they're all lovely, lovely people. It's been great getting to know them lately. But that's me. And
that's awesome. Well, thank you so much again for coming on.
Thank you. This was so much fun. I love it. I love it here. I don't want to leave. I'm not
stay forever.
Squatting rights.
Squatting rights. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for listening to this episode with Andy, and we will see y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.
Table Talk is a podcast brought to you by Mythos Media Productions, bringing you a new episode every Wednesday, wherever you get your podcasts. Find us on Instagram and TikTok at Table Talk RPG, or check us out at our website, mythosmediaproductions.godaddysite.com. All business inquiries can reach out to us via email at info@mythosmediaproductions.com.